Hello, goddesses. Welcome to MenoLabs Live. To celebrate Mother's Day, we're excited to have a guest back with us today. Jodie Patterson, who is an activist and an author, is here with us to talk about her book, The Bold World, and talk about motherhood and how that's changed for her during perimenopause. My name is Natasha, and I'm the community manager. As I shared, this is Jodie Patterson, an author, an activist, and an ambassador for our sister company, Stripes. And Stripes is another company who's here to support women in perimenopause, and they're under our parent company, Amra. So we're really excited to dig into that today. But first, let's start with Jodie. Can you please share some information about your book and your activism?
Hey, Natasha, how are you?
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Well, first of all, I have to every time someone talks about my book and highlights my book, I have to say thank you. I put it out, I think it was published 4 years ago, if not more. And so that idea that it's still relevant and that the stories that my family, the stories that we're sharing as a family are still relevant, is fantastic. So thank you so much. I wrote the book over the course of many years, really over the course of a lifetime, because a lot of the chapters started from notes that I took as a kid and as a teenager and as a young adult and as a young mom, and then as an older mom. And the story is about my family, specifically about myself, and how I learned to shift for the ones around me that I love. There was a moment in my life when my third child, I'm a mother of 5, and there was a moment when my third child said, "Mama, I'm not a girl, I'm a boy." And I had no idea what that meant. I thought, well, maybe she's a lawyer, maybe she's a feminist, maybe she understands that there's sexism in every aspect of life and she wants to be seen as equal to brothers and to father and to men and to boys. This was 10 years ago, right? And so we knew much less about gender fluidity and gender variance and gender nonconformity. And so bottom line is I have a trans kid, I have cis kids, and I have found a way to really embrace all of that and support all of that in my house. And so the book is about how this woman who didn't know very much about it learned through my kids, and then went out into the world to teach my community as well about the diversity within our own families.
And it could really
so I wrote the book.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I wrote the book, and then that book took me on a journey of activism. I'm now on the board of the Human Rights Campaign, which is our largest LGBT organization in the country. I was chair of that board. I think that was the first Black chair ever in the 40 years. And so I just do a lot of work trying to raise up the consciousness around families and children and women and how we present in the world.
Definitely. And I was just going to say, I mean, it's such a good book. I, of course, read it, and I loved how any family can relate to it. I mean, I love how you had those one-on-ones with your kids, like Cassius, where you're breaking it down to him, like, with his toy. You're interacting with your toy. Is that science? It's your best friend, but is that science? And, I just love that relatability and how it can work on, relationships within the family and how we discuss different topics. So it spoke to me, and I appreciate you for writing it. Let's dive into the products and your favorite products with MenoLabs. I don't know if you want to we'll just dive into Goddess Glow Beauty.
I have it. Yeah.
Yes.
So when
dive into why they're your favorites.
Okay. Well, I didn't know your brand. And I knew sort of it tangentially through Stripes.
Yeah.
And then you and I met, and then you were so generous and you sent me a package. It took me a while to try it out. This is like real life. It took me a while to open the box and then to try it out. And I have other things that I was incorporating in my new approach to health. And so I just put this to the side for a minute. But when I got around to it, the 2 products that I went to first are Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen. I mean, for obvious reasons, right? Like in my 50s, I want to be, I still want my skin to look great. I want my hair to look great. I want my bones to feel good. And I want to have a general inner outer sense of beauty, how I define beauty. And then I also love this probiotic MenoGlow.
Yes.
Right, because I mean, I know just from the little bit I know about health, your gut is really important. The gut health is important. And again, it's a lot of this is vanity for me. Like I just I take care of myself. I exercise. I eat right. And hopefully the things that I do will make me look the way I want to look. And so
You're
I
gorgeous.
just
So
have like,
perfect.
but side notes, I've been taking these two things for a while now, and I mix it with my morning shake. And I went to get my hair cut the other day, and my hairstylist, Liz, said, "Your hair has never looked better. It's never been thicker. It's never been
Oh,
healthier." And I was like, I have a
that's
couple
what
of
it's
things
all
I'm doing.
seeing those results. My mom
Yeah.
actually said when she was using this, she was getting a lot of compliments on her hair and it looking thicker and the curls are springier and all of that. So definitely
Yeah.
love to hear that. So the next product, which we are talking about, is Stripe. And Stripes is the one you're an ambassador for. They do things to support women in perimenopause. And the product that you love is Badge of Honor. And I'd love to see that you've shared on socials and everything. So you're very vocal about this product.
I am. I never thought about my vagina in the way that I'm thinking about it now. I mean, I've always thought about it because I have 5 children. I've birthed four of the 5. Um, Clearly I made those children too. So, and I'm a very active woman. So I've always thought about every inch of my body. I've never been I've never been out of touch with my body, but I never thought to treat my vagina every day, like to moisturize it and to care for it and to apply things to it the same way I would apply to my skin or my hair or my teeth. And so uh, when Naomi sent me Badge of Honor, it took a minute again for me to try it, but it is fantastic. Like first of all, the substance of it, the texture of it is fantastic. It has, I believe, ectoine,
Yes.
which is a substance that often is found in the vagina. So the vagina is helping the vagina. It's also found elsewhere in the world, but I don't know the science behind it, but I have to tell you, I really like it. And it has changed the texture, to be really blunt, of my skin on my vagina. And as we get older, that is the key, to keep it healthy and supple and the opposite of dry.
So that is what this is made for, hydration for sure. And as you're saying, like some women do experience drying on their vagina during perimenopause. And it can get to, I've had women share in the comments in our app that it can get itchy. It can be so, dry that it gets itching, or it starts to itch. And so like you shared on your social, and when we ran through the rehearsal, head to toe moisturizing. And last night, I've never done this, but because we were talking about it, I wanted to actually try it out. I took the time, I oiled my hair, I did my face, did my body, and then I did my vagina. I've never done it before. And it was actually really interesting. It wasn't a bad experience. It felt good. It felt moisturized. It was beautiful, actually. And I was just like, why don't women take the time to take care of their vagina like that? I don't know. We're scared.
It's like you do everything. Yeah, it's like you do everything and then you skip that area for daily care.
Yeah, that's true.
Not pleasure, but care. Like I know everyone,
Yes.
we're aware of our vagina for pleasure and for purpose, but there's like that nurturing aspect of like caring for it and moisturizing it and hydrating it. And so like, yeah, I've never touched my vagina more than now.
And now I'm going to be doing it with the Stripes Badge of Honor. So you've got me trying new things. I love it. So let's dig into the promo. Now that we've got everything set up, we know what your favorite items are. The promo for today is amazing. We're doing something we've never done before. We're doing 50% off 2 or more items if you put them into your cart. So that's a really great deal. And it's on all of the products. So I'm just going to run through all of them. The ones we talked about: Goddess Glow Beauty Collagen, Meno Glow, Happy Fiber, Athena Shield, I have the right one now, Well Rested, and Meno Fit. So any 2 items or more, you'll get 50% off using the code MOTHER50 until Thursday at midnight. Plus you get the gift with purchase, which is the Badge of Honor from Stripes, which is really exciting. This is the travel size. You could take it anywhere on your trips, any of that. We want to run through the icons really quick too, just for anyone who's joining us now and has never done this. The bottle icon is going to tell you about all of the products. The bag icon is going to be where you get those 2 items or more in there, so you can get the promo MOTHER50 to get 50% off. The triangle is all about sharing. Sharing is caring. So we want you to share during the live. You could share for the promo, for the information that Jodie is going to be sharing. We're all about sharing. The heart is all about supporting each other. We really appreciate your hearts, your love. And then the comment box. If you have any questions about the products, if you have questions about perimenopause, or if you have questions which we really want to have for Jodie, our guest today, please leave those in the comments and we will get back to you. Right now, we have a few that I wanted to share. Tess is here from San Antonio, Texas. Sandy is tuning in from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Gloria says, love Jodie, can't wait to watch. We love Jodie too. Andy says, same here, refreshing. Julie said, Jodie, you are incredible. Wow. Oh, I love that. Jackie is tuning in from St. Louis. So we're really excited to have you guys here. We're really excited about this 50% off promotion. We hope you get a lot of great items and you can get them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one. But now we are going to dive into the book. I read your book, The Bold World, while I was on spring break, and I loved it. What made you write the book?
I think I was struggling at the time. Okay, first of all, I have to put myself back into that moment because it was years ago, but it feels like worlds ago. That same struggle is not a part of my daily. But at the time, I was in the beauty industry. I had a beauty company. I had a beauty boutique, and so I was working with beauty companies and beauty product and beauty enthusiasts. And at the same time, I was raising a family of 5. So the beauty industry felt very rigid in terms of its ideals and its values. And my house felt very chaotic in terms of its predictability. And I couldn't understand my children. And it seemed like the two worlds were not mixing, because especially when I realized that my son was trans, and I was trying to lean into him expressing himself as he saw himself and not fit into a box and not worrying about fitting into a box. Yet the beauty industry, the industry that I was working in, felt very boxed. So I left the beauty industry and I sold my company, and I had a brief moment of clarity, and I spent a summer writing the book. The book was really to help me process what seemed like an uphill battle, what seemed like an impossible task. Like, how does this cisgender woman support a trans boy? So I went back into my family history. I was raised by activists. I was raised by civil rights activists, economic activists, poetic activists, educational activists. And I realized that the civil rights movement is very similar to the gender movement. It is about liberation. It's about freedom. And so the book really helped me. It was cathartic. It helped me process the experiences that were seemingly at the time really, really scary. And so I wrote about it. I mean, as everyone does, we journal, we write, sometimes we talk to ourselves in the bathroom. I just happened to put it on a book, and Random House published it. And Alice Walker said it was marvelous. I don't know. I still am tickled because I had never written a book before that. So it was my process of really accepting the state of my family and the reality of my family, not thinking about what I wanted it to be or what it should have been or what it could have been, but what it really is from, the centuries, because I was really looking at all of my family, not just this one trans kid, but like all of us as nonconformers. And I really see ourselves in my family as nonconformers in many ways.
Definitely. In the book, you shared about your early years in parenting. How would you say that your mothering has changed as you entered into perimenopause?
Someone just said writing is the best therapy. Completely, like totally allows you to see things that in your daily process of like moving and shaking, you can't see. And when you sit and write, you see it all. And that was one of the things when you just asked the question you asked about how my parenting changed, I was able to really think about that as well. I think in the early stages, as we are as young mothers and young parents, the birthing, the nursing, the getting up, and the clothing and the cooking and the homework, all of that took precedence. And scheduling, I was like the computer mind for the family.
You're doing it all.
And I was, and you have to be, rigid in the method. Otherwise the house turns to, to potty. So I was really rigid. I like things a certain way, and I wanted my children to embrace those values as well, because I saw those habits as value-driven, value-based. But as I've gotten older, and I went a mile a minute. I mean, I had 5 children. I've been married twice. I've lived in 15 different homes. I've had probably 15 different careers: fashion, music, nightlife, circus acrobat, activist, author, like a lot of, I was moving at a mile a minute. As I got older and as menopause hit, the body tells you, slow down.
Okay. Yeah.
The body tells you you can't, more is not always better.
Mm.
So now as a mother, I'm slower, I'm deeper, and I'm not as wide. I don't do as much in terms of like covering all the grounds, but wherever I am, I'm a little bit more present, I think. I think I'm funnier actually, because half the time in menopause, it's like you realize it's out of your control. I don't give an F
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
everything anymore. So, slow down, less critical, more present. And I think as a woman, I really, it's like you realize it's finite, your time. When you hit menopause, you're like, you know, at a certain point, I will pass. I don't know
Mm.
if you ever thought this way, but during menopause, you think about yourself as a being that is finite. And so with that, I decided to take a lot of moments for myself. Like Badge of Honor is a moment for myself.
Yes.
Goddess Glow is a moment for myself. Hanging out with my boyfriend. I went to Atlantic City the other day. Like, and my kids were here in Brooklyn, and I did that for myself. So menopause has taught me to embrace not only moments with your family in a deeper way, but also to really deeply get to know myself and to answer to my requests and to my desires.
I love that. I love that. Because I know it can be hard for women to put themselves first sometimes. You've got like you had done, you were just like going, doing this, taking the kids there, working about their school, working on your work, and it's just everything. So it does make a difference when you can make time for yourself and be able to take care of what you need.
Yeah,
Um,
and menopause will tell you to do that.
yeah.
Slow down.
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
You were very close with your grandmother, your mom, and your aunt Lerma growing up. And I'm just wondering, were they open with you about their perimenopause experience?
I was and am very close with the
Yes,
women in my family.
yes.
We talk about so many things. We have never been body shy. I've seen older bodies, younger bodies, all my life around me. My mom would get undressed, and my grandmother would get undressed, and my aunties. I'm very familiar with the female body because they were open with me, and we love being women in my family. Like the women are like really excited to be women, and we never talked about menopause. We talked about economics, we talked about race, we talked about hair and skin, we talked about joy and literature and travel and health issues, blended families, never at menopause. Like it never came up, not once.
After reading
I,
your
you
book,
know,
I thought that it would have been like an open chapter for you. You would have been the one that would have known everything. Because I know so many women say they don't hear about it from their family. And I was like, oh, Jodie definitely did. So it was really surprising to me when you didn't. But how did that then reflect on how you've experienced perimenopause since your family wasn't as open when they were going through it, let's say? Because you could still talk,
yeah,
of course, now, but
that's true. And it has this moment that we're in collectively has given my mom and myself new moments to talk about it.
yeah.
But I think what I did miss out on was claiming it. Like I
Mm.
remember I was going through menopause. I was probably perimenopausal as I was going through a divorce, and so those lines got really blurred. Like, you know, am I irritable because I'm in perimenopause, or am I irritable because I don't like my partner anymore? My partner is not healthy for me anymore. So I think I rejected the idea that I was going through menopause because as a feminist, I thought it was something like a dart, like, oh, you're on your period, or oh, you're going through menopause. That's why you're
Yes,
so
yes.
over the top. And so I really just didn't claim it. And then after I divorced and moved out and really regained my own sense of clarity, I want to be in menopause. I'm
Mm.
excited to be in menopause. And so, it's like everybody has their steps that they have to take. I think I missed some moments when I could have addressed my internal issues, my body issues. But now at 52, I'm excited about it. So I can't say what I wish could have happened or I wish I knew more. But what I do know is this moment now where people are really talking about it from all ages, even my daughter likes to talk about it with me. It's an awakening. of my of my own like self. Like I'm coming to find out more things about my own self at the latter part of my life, which is great.
And I know you brought up your daughter, that's Georgia. How are you sharing your perimenopause experience with your 5 children?
Well, I've got teens and young adults. And
Yeah.
so my young adult daughter is a godsend. She can talk about anything and we have very adult conversations. And so I tell her what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, how my body is changing. She sees it. She says, "Gosh, you look gorgeous, Mom. I love this phase on you. This moment is great." So we have a really good, healthy back and forth. She makes me feel great. My teenage sons, they don't want to hear it. Honestly, they don't want to hear it. Like they would probably like just walk away with a stank face. But what I do is I talk anyway. I just talk out loud in my own house and they pretend like they're not listening or they pretend like it's disgusting, but they will hear it subliminally. And that's
Yeah.
how we develop culture in our homes. We don't, like my parents never said, "You are Black
Yeah.
and we believe in Black power and Black harmony and Black love." We just lived a very Black experience. The art, the music, the politics, the guests, the friends, the dinner table, everything was rich in Black culture. And so I try to have my family, which is a lot of boys, be rich in feminine female culture. So when I am going through something, I talk about it, I say it out loud, I talk with the aunties at the table, and they can pretend like they're not listening, but I know subversively they're getting it.
I love that. For any goddesses that are just joining us, I want to just let everyone know we have our guest here, Jodie Patterson, who is an author and an activist. She's here talking about her book, The Bold World. And we have a great promotion that we don't usually have 50% off any 2 or more products from the line. So that is going to be going until Thursday at midnight, and you're going to use the code MOTHER50. So for anyone who's joining us, make sure you're checking out our products and getting 2 or more items in your cart. Let's ask a few more questions, of course. And I want to encourage anybody, if you have any questions about perimenopause and motherhood, please put those questions in there for Jodie. She's going to answer at the end with you guys. Did it help? Let's see. Sorry, I'm now lost on my questions. This is real.
Just pick anything.
Pardon me?
Pick anything.
Oh, yes, here we go. In the book, you mentioned that your mom had her meditation time and you shared affirmations with your kids growing up. What kind of affirmations are you using in your life during perimenopause?
I think I've been tried and true with a couple. One that I really love is, and I share this with my children, I share this really with myself a lot these days. It started with my kids. Winners are losers who got back up. Anyone any great person has also experienced great loss. Anyone who's fantastically achieved has also experienced really low loser moments. And I saw that in our own home. We sometimes felt so low, but the difference between the loser and the winner is when you hit that low, just stand back up. Just get back up. And so I always tell my kids, winners are losers that get back up. I would say it over and over again that they would just crack up laughing because it became like ridiculous how often I would remind us to just get back up. And I say that to myself now because a lot of times and this is, the harder part of getting older, my body is hurting. My joints hurt. I've got a lot of inflammation that I'm dealing with. And I just, want to sometimes just stay in bed. And so I just say, okay, you can stay in bed for 7 more minutes, but then you got to get back up. You just got to get back up. So winners are losers who get back up. And then recently I've heard myself, well, my children reminded me that I've been talking to myself as I go up and down my stairs in the morning. You got this, JoJo. You got this, JoJo. I don't even know I'm saying it, but they're like, Mom, who are you talking to? And then I realized I'm talking to myself. You got this. You got this, JoJo. So I choose my nickname. I tell myself I've got this. And I do that as I'm up and down the stairs in the morning doing laundry or getting the kids out or getting myself ready for a meeting. And then there's a really great one that my mom taught me, which is an affirmation of love and self-love. And so I stand in front of, as a kid, we were told to stand in front of a mirror with just our underwear on and like hug yourself and then say 3 times, 4 times, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself.
I love this one.
And it's so silly, especially because you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're looking at your own eyes like seductively, and I love myself, and it's hilarious because when do we really do that, right? When do we stand in front of the mirror naked and appreciate with deep love and admiration? It's almost over the top silly, but it makes you giggle. And I know myself now. I can tell you every inch of my body. So that mantra to me is about self-love, but it's also about self-awareness.
Definitely. That one's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that one. I love that it makes you smile too. You know, it's a serious one, but it makes you smile.
Yeah.
In the book, you share how your grandma was always writing in her journal. How do you make time for journaling during midlife, and how does it help?
Journal all the time. Um, I actually watched my grandma journal in a very atypical way. I mean, maybe it's typical for people. She journaled in little sidelines of books and little scraps of paper that she would tuck away. Um, and when she gave me her library, when she passed, I had all her books, and I found some of her notes tucked away in books and in her Bible. And it reminds me of the way I journal, which is I usually journal a tough topic that I'm trying to work out. So I'll write it down on a piece of paper. I might confess something or say something that I don't want anyone to hear, and then I'll tuck it away. I
Mm.
have I put it in desk drawers. I put them in books. I've put them all over, and then of course I find them years later, or months later, or decades later, and it's mind blowing sometimes where I was compared to where I am, or where my grandmother was compared to where I thought she was feeling. I thought she was accomplished and strong, and well, some of her journals are quite tender. And she said things like, "I feel sad today, or I feel lonely in my marriage." This really accomplished woman felt lonely in her marriage, as we all do. So I think I make it a point to journal. I've got stacks and stacks of moleskin books. I've got little pieces of paper scattered all over the place. I have thousands of notes in my iPhone that some of them are like rap lyrics or notes on feminism, or, you know, sayings that I've heard other people mention that I thought, wow, that's really interesting. Yeah.
I love
I
it.
notate all the time.
The Notes app is amazing. It was really great for me when my grandma passed. I just every time I had a thought or something that reminded me of her, I took notes on it just to kind of hold on to that feeling. So it's pretty amazing. And Apple is going to be coming out with a journal app because of the notes. So
Oh.
I'm curious to see what that's going to be like. Um, what makes you happy in midlife?
Hmm. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Where can I start that's like nice and neat? Well, I like to travel. I mean, okay, I like to travel.
Yes,
There were many years when I couldn't travel because I had all these kids, and buying 7 tickets was impossible at the time.
yes.
Um, and so now I can buy one. I like to buy one ticket, and I'll go to south of France to see a friend, or go to Switzerland to visit my daughter. So travel on a budget makes me so happy these days. Um, I really like dating my boyfriend.
Ooh, I love
Like it's like almost novel, because in the past I was in relationships for family, for children, for marriage, for something. Like you could see the material, you could see the relationship grow into children, and
it.
things that were tangible. But dating is different. It's just a sensual partnership, that is about collaboration in certain little key moments. And so I love that. I love dating. I love holding hands with my boyfriend, strolling down the street. Um, Music really gets me going these days. I used to be, I mean, I still read, but I don't read as much. But I listen to more music than ever. I make playlists based on my mood. And I have to tell you, like, dancing in my house, I know it sounds really cliche, but music and dancing in my house gets me going these days.
I love that. I'm all about music. In our community newsletter, we have a playlist, so we'll have to get some jams from you to add to that. Um,
Oh, I have a good one.
oh yeah. What is your
Yeah.
superpower?
My superpower? Well, um, I make great babies. But seriously, okay. That's a genetic thing. Okay. I connect the dots well. So, in my lifetime, I've had probably, like I said, 15 different careers. I've moved a bunch of times. I've been married twice. And could seem to people that I might be flaky or um, scattered or whimsical. And some of that is true, but I think what I've done is I've brought all of those worlds and moments and experiences with me. So there's this learning that has happened over these different moments in my life, in different communities that I've been a part of, and different families that I've developed. And now at 52, I'm actually bringing all that together.
Mhm.
So it's a bit of like, I was in the circus, I was in music, I was in fashion, I was in art, I was in nightlife, and all of that comes out in my writing, and all of that comes out in my decision making, all of that comes out in my work. So when I sit on the board of the Human Rights Campaign with, some heavy hitters, a lot of men, a lot of white folks, a lot of wealthy folks, I don't feel um, intimidated by that, because the wealth of knowledge that I have of all these worlds that I've traversed that most people have not, because they've stuck to a path and they've perfected their profession. I bring all that. So I think my superpower, whenever I'm talking to people, I say I can bring to you the an understanding of a very diverse world. I can bring to you and share with you the learnings of a woman who's traversed, you know, more territory than most, and I have some thoughts on it. So I think connecting the dots is my superpower.
And I have to say, I loved reading about your career path in this book. That's why I didn't want to put it down. I was like, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. It was just exciting for me. So anyone who loves New York City, that's another great reason to follow along on this book journey, because it was just exciting for me, just someone who lived in New York for a couple of years and really wanted to have that life basically. So I think it's really a great book for someone for that side as well.
Yeah.
What has been positive about getting older?
Good question. Um, More present, really much more present. Like I said, I was zipping through life. I had so much I wanted to do, and so much I was trying to accomplish, and so much I wanted to experience, and so many things I wanted to see and witness and be a part of. I mean, I just never stopped. Some nights,
We can't hear you.
that your body is telling you. First, the world was giving me its cues, like, okay, go here, go there, look at this. And now my body is really telling me, listen to me, you're the center. And so getting older for me means being much more self-aware. It means being more present. It means
being wise. Like I was as a young person, I was able to read rooms. I was able to read uh, things that were happening around me and really absorb. And the new skill that I have is being able to read myself. And I think that is unlike anything else, to have an awareness and an intuitive understanding of yourself. And I think that comes with age.
Definitely. That's a great superpower too.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everybody about this promo that we're having today that ends on Thursday at midnight. It's 50% off of 2 or more items out of all of the MenoLabs items, and you use Mother50 as the promo code. For the gift with purchase, you're going to get the Badge of Honor travel size from Stripes, which is our sister company. We're really excited about women supporting women and women supporting women during perimenopause, so we're really excited about that. I do have one question I want to make sure we get from our audience. Julie asks, what's the best way to prep my daughter and teach her about menopause? I want to teach her everything. Also, I love these conversations. These are great conversations.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Jodie, for doing this.
So, Julie, thank you for asking that. I think transparency, normalizing, having the bravery to put things on the table, so to speak, in moments that aren't necessarily meant for the discussion around a woman's body. So I talk about things at the dinner table. I talk about things when everyone's in the car, when they can't go anywhere and they're held captive. But I think, I learned my lesson when I was trying to understand my transgender son. And I was hoping that the world would also understand with me my transgender son. I just started talking about it out loud, even when it's awkward. And so I think the way we talk about it with our children can be as awkward as that, like that awkward moment when you're just bringing up something that doesn't belong in the room, in the space, is really brave. And then it'll change that space for your daughter, and your daughter will have, you know, a different experience perhaps with her children when she speaks about it. But so my advice is choose the most common place in your house, your kitchen, your living room, place where people just dwell naturally, and talk about it out loud. Even if they make a funny face, or even if they pretend like they're not listening. I find that if we do it in the spaces that are common spaces, that are family spaces, and that people love, the kitchen, the living room, even if you're all snuggled up in bed, those are the spaces that signify this is a conversation of love. This is a conversation that is appropriate. Even if it feels awkward, it is appropriate. So yeah, use the home to help you.
Thank you for those words of wisdom, Jodie. Thank you for joining us here at MenoLabs Live again today. And goddesses, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy celebrating Mother's Day with the ones you love. And we want to remind you of the promotion. It's 50% off until Thursday using Mother50 on any 2 or more items. And we want to invite you to come to our Facebook group, MenoLabs Live, or MenoLife, excuse me. And Jodie shared about her journaling and affirmations. We want to hear what's making a difference in your health in midlife. So please share with us there, and we look forward to seeing you on our next show. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Natasha.